Mercy, there's a time I used to cry like 24/7, morning, during the day, at night, the whole night I cried. I used to ask God questions. I did not want to see people. I used to lock myself inside the house. I look at my son as a child of 2 years.
Bringing up a child who is differently abled is not a walk in the park. It is difficult, and it needs a lot of attention, it needs a lot of sacrifice, it needs a lot of energy. And to Moyo Stories, a series that I'll be bringing you on my YouTube channel, on our podcasts, I'll be telling you journey of different parents and different guardians and how it has been for them to bring up our children who are differently abled. And in our first episode, I bring to you a parent, a woman who gave up everything, even a well-paying job, just to take care of a son who is differently abled. My name is Mercy Simiyu. Welcome to Moyo Stories, our first episode, introducing to you our first parent. Her name is Mercy Simiyu. Welcome as we listen to her story. Mercy Simiyu, yes. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Welcome to our podcast, and thank you so much for accepting to come and talk to us about how the journey has been for you. And I would really just love for you to explain to us, how did you first find out that you had a child who is different?
Well, thank you first for hosting me and for having me. Israel is also excited.
Oh, his name is Israel.
Israel, yes. Yeah. Israel is also excited to be here.
Yeah.
Well, my name is Mercy Simiyu, just as Mercy has said. In the year 2013, that's when I was pregnant with Israel. And that is when I also gave birth to him, of course, 9 months after. That is 2013, August 24th. Mm-hmm. I went to labor to give birth to this boy.
Yes. Yeah.
And during labor, before labor, I was just fine because I meet so many people asking me, did I have any problem with labor?
Yeah, no, during pregnancy.
During pregnancy, that is. No, I didn't have any problem. In fact, because I'm a gospel artist,
yes,
I was still ministering, I was still singing, I was very active in ministry. So I did not have any problem. I went to all the clinics. I took all those supplements that we are normally given.
Yes.
I took all of them. I did not have any complication at all during my pregnancy. In fact, that was one of the most smooth pregnancy I've had because I have a firstborn.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Israel is your second-born?
Yes, Israel is my second-born.
Okay.
So my firstborn's pregnancy was even more tough than Israel's because during the first one, I was not even eating. I had difficulties in eating. I had a lot of, cravings. But with Israel, it was very, very smooth. I did not have any challenges.
Okay.
So on that fateful day, the 24th, before 24th, 22nd, I went into labor with this child. And I went to the hospital. That was in the morning. So I went to the hospital and of course, I called my husband and told him, I think I have labor. And he just told me, just go to the hospital. So I went to the hospital. Okay. And of course, when I reached there, they confirmed to you that, you're indeed in labor. Yes. So, of course, I was confirmed that I was in labor. So I started laboring this boy. And I labored. But after some time,
yes.
Let me say, I started developing, complications because the water broke. The water broke because after some time, in fact, I labored for like 5 hours.
Yes.
Then the water broke. So when the water broke, the doctor said, we will have to induce you because the water has broke already.
Yes.
And your baby is not coming out. So we'll have to. So I was induced.
Okay.
So after being induced, I took some time. No, the baby was not coming. Was not coming out till.
Is it that you are not dilating, or the baby was still not in the right position to come?
I don't know. In fact, there I cannot really explain why.
Yeah. Okay.
Because I was with the doctors all through, and they were not even, they were not saying anything. They're just telling me, we're just waiting. Everything will be fine.
Okay.
And That one, now it was 6, heading to 7, heading to 8.
From morning?
From morning, yes. So I spent the whole night again without giving back to the baby. I already remember the water had broke. So the following day when they came, the baby still had not come out. So by around noon is when now they said, this girl is going to die on us. So we have to take her for operation.
That is after you had labored for 24 hours?
Yes, 24 hours. Now I was already very tired. I was very tired. In fact, I was almost going unconscious. That is when now they said, you need to do operation on this girl. That is now when they started running around, taking me to theater.
Now as an emergency?
Yes, an emergency, because I was very tired. I was very tired already. So by the time I was being taken for theater, the baby was also very tired.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yes, I was tired, the baby was also very tired. So it was an emergency. And we went into theater because now it was something that was being hurried. The baby came out, and when he came out, he was convulsing at birth. So he had, just, they call it birth asphyxia. So he was already convulsing. And he was taken to the incubator. Those ones for children. It's called the ICU for kids.
Yes.
He was taken there, and he stayed there for almost a month. 1 month? Yes. For a month, being done to so many things. He was put on oxygen, so many injections. I don't understand those things. But he was on so many things throughout the 1 month. So within the 1 month, it was not an easy process, because in fact within that 1 month I equally developed complications. I think after 4 days, I started having complications in my womb. My womb started just swelling. And it was swelling every day. Today swelling, tomorrow it is swelling, until it was, it was here. You'd think I was pregnant again. Yes, and then now on the 5th, I think on the 6th or 8th day, my wound, because now I don't for operation.
Yes.
The wound had overstretched. It burst at the side, and I had to be done for another operation.
Yes.
Which now they were saying, okay, now you could hear them saying, but whatever was written on my report is different. They wrote that I had infection, but whatever they were saying is that something had been left inside the womb
during the operation.
That had caused the infection inside the womb. So in my report, it is just written she had an infection, just like that. They did not write something was left inside them. So it is something that I had to go for a second operation on my bill.
8 days after.
Yes, 8 days after. So I had to go for a second operation. Do you remember, it is on my bill? The mistake is not mine, but it is on my bill.
And at that time you have a child who is in the ICU.
Yes. So it was very, very, it was something that really was challenging to me. And in fact, at some point, doctors started saying that I had gone mad. I think there was so many things that were going on that
you couldn't comprehend.
Yeah, I couldn't comprehend. I was not understanding anything. I was not understanding what was wrong with my son. I was not understanding what was wrong with me.
Did they ever tell you what was happening to your son? Like why he was taken to the ICU and why on a lot of machines and the needles and pipes?
Apparently, during that time when we were in the hospital, nobody really was willing to tell me exactly what was going on. You ask the doctors, they tell you, just know the boy is sick. But really nobody is telling you exactly how sick or what is it that is eating the boy. Nobody is telling you that. Nobody is bold enough to tell you what is wrong with the child.
Yeah.
So you ask them. I used to ask, why is the boy like this? What is happening? Why can't he breathe on his own? He has to be on oxygen. Why? But they tell me, just know that your son is sick.
Without no further explanation or anything to make you understand what was happening?
Yes, nobody. They just tell you, just know your son is sick. And you just say, okay. Now you don't want to ask me any question because it's like someone trying to rub you off,
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't want you to to ask more. So you just continue being in the ward. And then one day, because my mom-in-law is a medic, so one day I talked to my mom. Okay, my mom-in-law, of course, knew that we had the baby. We were in the hospital. Yeah. So one day now she got curious. And she wanted to know exactly what was happening. Then she asks, what is not happening? You say, the baby is in the incubator. I also don't understand. Then she requested to talk to one of the nurses. So now when she talked to one of the nurses, is when the nurses now referred her also to another doctor. Now she talked to the doctor. Then now she understood what was going on. So then she just told me, Mercy, now I want you to Google cerebral palsy.
That is now your mother-in-law telling you, not the doctor.
Not the doctor. I want you to Google cerebral palsy. Then, that time, I was not in my right senses. I don't know what to say. I couldn't even Google. So I told my husband, Mom is saying you go and Google cerebral palsy. He also didn't Google.
Because the pressure is too much.
Yes, his dad was left with. You remember I told you I have a firstborn.
Yeah.
So he's the one who was with the kid. He had to go to work. He had to come and visit me in the hospital. You imagine that with a man. Yes, with a man, it's easy. A woman can manage to multitask that much. Yeah. But for a man, it's quite something. So he didn't Google. So he just came back to me and told me, I'll Google, not now. Things are I'm running around too much. Yeah, but I'll just Google. So we didn't Google at that time. So later on is when we, after coming home is when we decided, let's Google this thing. Then we Googled and found out that, it's a condition that affects the brain. And it is something that, the doctors say has no cure. It is just managed by therapy. So that is when now we realized the reality of, of our son. Yeah. So staying in the hospital for a month, and the boy started improving. He started improving, I think, the last week of our stay. Yeah. And it was all prayers, because I remember one day I decided just to act out of faith. I just decided to go to the incubator. And that time he had been, a number of machines had been removed from him. Like the oxygen was already removed. In fact, now the only thing that was still left is the pipe, because he was feeding through the pipe.
Yes. Were you breastfeeding?
No, I was pressing milk into the pipe. Yes. Okay. So that time the only thing that was left now was the pipe, because now I press milk, then I pour inside the pipe, then it goes direct to his stomach. So that time now is when I decided to exercise that breastfeeding. Yeah. And I went to him and I tried. I just removed him from the incubator. I tried. When I put him on the breast, I remember one nurse saw me and said, "How you don't understand that this child cannot breastfeed. You need to understand this point." I was told already, but I just decided to try. Yes. So I just put him on like this. And he tried. Like the way a child does. He tried. And then the nurse is the same nurse tells me, nice, do it, continue. And then we put him, and then he says, this one, I think if we try and massage the reflexes, I think he can try. So they started, now he called the therapy guys, and they started now massaging this side. I don't know, those are the reflexes, I don't know, whatever they are. Yeah. And then they started doing that on a daily basis, and they tell me, try. I try. So every day he improves. Today he pulls once, tomorrow twice, another day 3 times, like that. Yeah. So he went on like that until they told me, now this one we can discharge. You'll just continue doing this. If you see he has done it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times, the other one just pour in the mouth. Oh, okay. Yes. And so that is how I was discharged from the hospital, and that's how we came home. So when we came home, now the reality of the whole issue began to hit us, because this baby is different. This baby is different. Not like my firstborn.
Yeah, when you say different, because this baby is your second born. You
you had your firstborn. You've had that experience as a mother.
Yes.
And now here comes a child. When you say that this baby is different, how different?
This baby can't, you know, like the way you have a child and you can wash them in the morning. You wake up, maybe at around when the sun comes out, you can wash the baby. This one you can't wash, like the way you wash the other ones. He's too delicate. You can't wash him. At the same time, his neck was, his neck was not stable. After 1 month, his neck is not stable. His neck is going like this. He's just moving like this.
He cannot
stable. He cannot hold his neck, so he's just going like this. So is a baby you have to hold like this. Another thing, he was convulsing, like every time. You leave him on the seat like this. You go to the kitchen, even to take water. You come back, he's already like this. The eyes are like this. He's convulsing seriously. Another thing, he can't breastfeed like the other child. Yes. So he was different. Very different. Even nobody understands this child apart from even the father is still trying to understand what it. Now you see, I'm the one who was in the hospital. At least I've been in this situation. Now I'm home. Now the father is now trying to learn what is going on here. So the only person who understands this child is
you,
as
the mother.
Yes. So I was just there also trying to learn whatever is going on here. It's something I had never seen before. So it was new to me. It was new to all of us. But now just trying to learn what is this. And it was not easy. It was not easy. It was most. You see, I press milk. I used to press milk, feeding. You pour inside the mouth, it just goes. And he was just crying. He was just crying. You don't know why he's crying. He was just crying every time. But though he was not crying, like he was crying like that. Different. He's different. You see the way children cry. No, him is yelling, and every time, as long as he's awake. And then he had the chest was congested. In fact, when he was small, he had so many complications. Not like right now. At least, God has really helped us with time. The complications weren't reducing. So we were in and out of the hospital every time. Because it converses. We are in the hospital.
You ran to the hospital?
Yes. So in fact, there's a time even I stayed in the hospital for 2 months.
2 months?
Yes.
Admitted?
Yes, in Kenyatta. I stayed for 2 months. Admitted because of convulsions. They were not stopping. Now he was convulsing non-stop, like every time he's convulsing. He was, and now when you read the medicals, things to do with those medicals, they say when a child is convulsing, it kind of erases everything. So you do therapy, but now he converses, it erases.
You get back to square zero.
To get back to square zero. And that was now my life. We do therapy, but the boy is conversing. And all that time he was conversing. Every time he's conversing. After 2 minutes he's conversing. He was conversing. It was a conversion thing. I remember one time I was in the house. I was alone. Now he was around 4 to 5, 6 months there. Almost 7 months, I think. Then he was just lying on the seat like this. So you go to the kitchen. You're doing house chores, a few things. Then you come, you find the boy. He's straight. The eyes are like this. I picked the boy. I went to Kenyatta. I can't even tell you how I was looking because I was doing house chores. The cloth that I had, I think it was a night dress or something. That's how I was in Kenyatta. Very confused with the boy. And I just reached there and I just put the baby on the table. The nurses, they were asking, what is wrong? I couldn't talk.
I can't speak.
So they just took the baby. The temperature, I think, was too high. They did the first aid. Then I was admitted again. So me, I was always admitted. Ile unakuwa admitted until when you reach the hospital, they say, Mama Israel, you're back.
Welcome.
You're welcome.
And it's in hospital.
Imagine. And that was my life. That life was hard. because at that time now, it's only my husband who was working.
Yeah.
And it's not a job like, those high jobs. It was just
Trying
yes,
to find ways out.
Yes.
And before you went into labor, before you got to give birth to Israel, you were working. You were employed.
I was employed. I did tourism management as a course, and I was employed in a tour firm. In fact, I thank God for the boss who had really employed, and the one who had employed me, a very nice boss. So I was employed in that company. The company was in Karen. So I was doing a very good job. I was working as a tour guide, as a tour operator in the office, sometimes in the field, because I've done tourism management, it's all around.
Yeah.
So I was doing a good job. I was being paid well. So when I gave back to this boy, things changed. Because now, you see, imagine, first month, second month, third month, this boy, you can't leave him with anyone, nobody. This boy is 100% dependent on me. 100%. 100% like food. I press milk.
Yeah.
I pour in his mouth. Even no house girl can handle this test. The neck is just moving like this.
He's convulsing.
He's drooling. He was, at that time you couldn't leave that boy to anyone.
Yeah.
So he was 100% dependent on me. I couldn't work.
So you were forced to resign.
I had to resign. My boss tried waiting for me 6 months down the line.
Wow.
My position is still vacant. Nobody's working there. She tried. She tried until she called me, told me, Mercy, I really didn't want to lose you. I really didn't want. If I was asked, I wish you could work from home. I don't know what to do. And I'm the one who just told her, no, the company, the company is bigger than me. Yes. And the company needs somebody else. I just told her, no, let me just resign and get someone else to occupy my position. Because now, there's nothing I can do. I don't even know how long I'm going to be here.
Yeah.
I don't know. So that time I was even singing also.
Oh, you had started ministry?
Yes, I started ministry. I started ministry in 2011. So I resigned from work, and of course I was replaced.
You are a woman who is used to waking up in the morning and going to work.
Yes.
You're used to being paid.
Yes.
And now you've resigned.
Yes.
You are in the house.
Yes.
No work.
Yes.
And you have a child who is disabled.
Yes.
Or differently able.
Yes.
How was it for you?
Well, at first, these things, you start absorbing them slowly. I don't know if I'm the one who is made like that. So, with time now, reality begins to hit when you sit alone. You're like, I no longer can't afford milk. I can no longer afford to do my hair. And I went to the barber and just told him, shave my hair.
You shaved your hair?
Yes, I did. I shaved my hair. I even have pictures of me. I've shaved my hair. I shaved because I can no longer. I don't even wait. Even if I could afford it, I can't go to the salon.
At what time?
At what time?
So you have to be there 24 hours.
Yes.
Every minute, every second.
Yes. I'm there 24/7. 24/7. This child is with me 24/7. And then he's delicate. He's delicate to an extent. He can't go out. When he gets dust, it's a problem. Perfumes are problems. Different weather is a problem. So we couldn't even get out with him. Most of the time I was just in the house with him. Yeah. So it was challenging because imagine I shaved my hair. That is one of the things. Because I couldn't afford even hair. I couldn't afford milk. Then you begin to imagine here. Even airtime.
Ya kupiga
simu. Because now, my husband is the only one working. He has to pay rent. By the way, we had to move from the house we were in. Because we were in a bigger house when I was working and he was working. But we had to move to a smaller house. Yes. Because now the budget couldn't work. Our firstborn is in school. He's paying rent. Hospital bill. Now, the thing that was eating us most was hospital. Because every time this boy... Hospital. Every time, hospital. That is what was eating us most. Therapy. You know, therapy, one session, those days it used to be 700 shillings per session.
Yeah, that is back in 2014?
Yeah, that is 20. In fact, 2014, yes. 2013, 2014. It was 700 shillings one session. Every day. Now you imagine you need 3 sessions in a week.
That is 700 times 3, that is 2100.
Yes.
In a week.
Yes, at least 3 sessions. Because if you do therapy once, you've not helped the child. Let's say if you do therapy once in a week, they forget.
You've done nothing.
You've done nothing. So for you to see impact, you have to do it at least 3 times in a week. So you do like Monday, the baby rests. Wednesday, the baby rests, and then Friday you do therapy. Or you do it Monday, the baby rests, Tuesday, like that. Like that, at least the baby always have to have also time for resting. And then that time also the boy was on a special diet. He was on a special, diet.
He can't eat anything.
Just anything. And then at the same time, also that special diet, most of his things were being blended. You blend kabisa inakuwa very like milk. You blend. If it is terere, you blend or you give him like, it is well blended. It looks like water, like milk. Yes. So you pour on the mouth. So he was on a special diet. There are things we have to have. Like us, we have to have a blender. Anytime my blender burns, I'm back to the shop. Yes, because even right now as I'm talking to you, we have to blend. There are things I have to blend. There are things we have to do because he still can't eat solid food. He's 9 years. He's turning 9, by the way. He still can't eat solid food. So most of the time we smash his food.
Okay.
Yes. So at that time now, it was very hard because you see now our budget, we had to come down. We had to come down from where we used to be, and come down to what we could afford. Our child had to go to a cheaper school.
You wanted to change his school.
Yeah, we had to change her school. So many things had to change.
Yeah.
And ministry, I had to leave ministry.
So you stopped everything.
Basically, my life changed. In short.
How was it for your husband?
It was not easy. It was not easy at all. Of course, it was not easy. Men always, they tried to be men in everything. He tried, but he was always encouraging me, telling me, things will be fine. Every time he's telling me, things will be fine. Don't worry. We will conquer this. But of course, if you look at him, he's just trying to be strong for us. Yeah. But it was not easy. It was not an easy thing. And it went on for quite some time. The reaction of people, and especially the reaction of people.
How was it from outside? Friends, the cycle?
It was not. People react differently. There are people who've got no chills. Like at all. Somebody comes and asks you, hey, kwani you people, what did you do? Really? What did you do? How comes? You people are born again and then this kind of thing is happening to you. What did you guys do? There are people who got no chills, like at all. So from outside, there are people who are supportive. Yeah. Of course, I have people who have been very supportive. But also I've seen people who try to make you feel like I don't know what, like you've done a very big thing. This thing does not happen to just anyone, Yes. I've even had household. Now you see when my son reached a certain point, like 4 years, 5 years, at least you could now leave him with someone, with household. But not for long.
Okay.
Yes, not for long. Maybe just to breathe and come back. I don't know if there's anyone who's employed house girls more than me. I don't know.
They come and go.
Yes, these children are not easy work.
Yeah.
So someone will come 1 month, hey, they are tired. They go. Because like my son, for example, even up to now, he puts on clothes in a day. A whole bucket of clothes.
Single day?
Yes, because he drools. He drools. So you see, like that one, even he has a feeder.
Yeah.
So that feeder you change every time. If you don't change that feeder, if water gets to it and it's, it goes to the cloth. You have to change his clothes. Because if you don't change his clothes, it's going to get into his chest. So he changes clothes like every time. Every time. Changes tops, even his pants. Now during feeding, he still feeds, the whole body. Most of these kids, if you look at them, they are not the same as the other one, because like my son, he drools. In fact, most of the time, you see, saliva this side. You can imagine we live with that. I live with that 24/7. I live with my son drooling 24/7. They eat vibaya. In fact, if you can't, sometimes some people cannot eat with them because they eat, the food is like this. Like some people cannot. The thing is, they just accept these kids. The difference is they're just different. They're just different from the normal child, Their communication is different. You see, their communication is just, they communicate differently. A normal child will tell you, I want to pee.
Yes.
But this other child will cry. They just communicate differently. He will cry.
Because they cannot talk.
They cannot talk.
They cannot tell you, Mama, I want to go to the toilet.
Yes, all you just see is I'm comfortable. He starts doing this. You just know. You just know he's communicating. So just go and try and check him and see what is he trying to say.
You use diapers on him?
Yes, I use diapers.
Up to now?
Up to now, yes. Diapers is now, it is now like, we are trusting God that one of us, one day we will stop using diapers.
Amen.
But now for right, especially when it is called like this, diapers. Pampers company, hi.
Well, I can imagine the expenses. Those things are expensive.
Diapers is not a joke. Like right now, one packet is, that one, for the one that my son uses, that one for big kids, for 6. Is it number 6?
Yeah.
They have numbers, right? I use number 6. And it has less numbers. Less numbers in it. And very expensive. Almost 1,000 and something. Yes.
And you have to use like how many in a day?
In a day, like 2 if he doesn't poop. Of course, if he poops, you have to remove.
Yeah.
Yes.
So 2 to 3.
2 to 3, yes, in a day.
In a single day. You're such a strong woman.
I don't know if I'm strong, Mercy. Let me tell you, I don't know. Normally people say I'm strong, but life can make you become something you have never been. And I can say it's purely grace. No, most of the time I can't even explain how we've gotten here. I cannot. It's just purely grace.
Wow. Our viewer, our listener, the boy you're seeing right now, he's turning 9 years.
Yes, on 24th of August.
He's turning 9 years. And the far that Mercy has come just to take care of her son. And as she says, it's acceptance and loving the son. It has not been an easy journey, but she has come this far. You can imagine your child doesn't tell you anything, doesn't talk. He communicates in a different way. He cannot come to you and tell you, Mama, I'm hungry. He cannot come to you and tell you, Mama, I need to go to the toilet. It's not easy. But Mercy, here you are,
yes,
with your son, Israel, turning 9 years.
Turning 9
years.
9 years.
Always happy and bubbly. Yes.
We want a cake.
Yeah. Hey. We need to bring him a cake.
Yes.
I want Mercy, as we wind up,
yes,
I want you to look to that camera.
Yes.
Just your last word as we finish this interview.
Kenya.
Yeah.
Hey, government, please remember us. If you can give us a school that is affordable for our kids, and even the government schools. I really appreciate what people have done. You've integrated the special education with these other kids. But we don't have facilities in those government schools. There are no facilities for these kids. In as much as it will be said that we have special education in these government schools, there are no facilities there at all for kids who are special. There are no facilities at all. So if you can help us have government schools with facilities for kids who are differently abled, would really appreciate. That is one. Number two, society, please accept us. When you see me carrying my son like this, I know he's drooling. Don't start looking at me as if I am carrying an elephant on my back, please. It is normal. I am carrying him just like you're carrying your child. Yeah. It is just a normal. I'm also carrying him, just going to our business. So don't look at me as if I am something is really wrong with me. And also accept us. If you see, to the society again, if you have a neighbor who has a child like mine, please, even if you take one packet of unga, you don't know what you have done, because these kids are not cheap. Very expensive. From diapers, at least once in a month, pass by there, give him even 2 diapers. You have saved that person one day. At least one day, pay therapy. Even if you will not be able to pay the full amount, 300 shillings for therapy, then let them go to therapy. You will have helped that person. And then encourage mothers. Most of the organizations in Kenya that are for these kids who are differently abled are focusing on kids. Mothers are forgotten, and mothers are depressed outside here. They are so depressed. They don't even know who to talk to. They don't know how to handle. Most of mothers have been left by their husbands, and also the stigma in the society is real. They can't do. When you have a child like mine, there is nothing you can do. Even if, for example, I carry my child today, come to your house today to ask you for a job, when you see my son the way he is, you might not give me the job. So please, society, please help the mothers. Organizations that are starting up the kids, please focus on the mothers also. Focus on the kids and also focus on the parents, on the mothers especially. Of course, kuna fathers who have embraced. Focus on them, encourage them, at least talk to them. They don't need much. Just talk to them, encourage them. And to mothers and guardians who have children like mine, please receive fresh grace. It is not easy, but don't give up. Love those children unconditionally. Show them a lot of love. Support them. Give them what you can, even if it is expensive, but just give them what you can give them. Just go to the extent you can, and God will reward you. Thank you so much, and God bless you.
This is Moyo Stories. Thank you for watching our first episode. My name is Mercy Simiyu. Be blessed.